Hey, so does it feel like everybody else's life is moving forward except yours? You're being left behind because of social anxiety. So your friends and your family members, they're having fun, they're getting married, they're having kids, they're thriving in their careers, they're traveling, they're all hanging out together, enjoying social connections, and you're over here still dealing with social anxiety. Okay, so if that's something that you are feeling, stick around, because in this video, I'm gonna help you understand why that stagnation, why that stuckness is happening. Okay, and then I'm gonna share with you how to break out of this stagnation and this depression so you can get that forward momentum, that forward movement in your life, so that you can feel normal just like everybody else, okay? So let's not waste any time, let's go. Okay, and so if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Rubin and I help individuals get relief from their social anxiety attacks. So the blank mind, the racing heart, the feeling like you can't breathe, that embarrassing shaky voice, that's what this channel is all about. So if that's something that resonates with you, consider hitting that subscribe button and hit that bell notification so that you know right when I release a new video. And if you want to connect with me on a more personal level, you can follow me on Instagram and I'd love to hear from you on there. Okay, so let's dig into this right now. This feeling like the world, it's moving forward. It's not waiting for anybody, okay? And maybe your friends and your family members, they're out there doing big things, they're accomplishing a lot, while you're still here dealing with this social anxiety. Now, the reason you have that feeling of being left behind, like you're stuck at a standstill, I hate to break it to you, but it comes down to one thing, and that is you're in denial. Okay, and what do I mean by that is you're in denial about your past experiences thus far in your life and the true impact they've had in shaping who you are as a human being today. I had a friend, he used to say, do you know what denial is? And he told me it stands for it doesn't even know I am lying. Okay, and who are you lying to? It's yourself. Okay, and I don't want you to take this too harshly. It doesn't have to have such a negative connotation, okay? Denial, it serves a very key purpose. The purpose of denial is to store experiences, compartmentalize them, and repress them away deep into your unconscious mind. Why does that function? Why is that function of denial? The glue that holds this whole thing together is denial. Why is it so important? Because if we had to be in touch with all of our past pains and traumas and adverse experiences, if they were in the forefront of our minds all day, we wouldn't have a functioning society. Okay? This is part of the human experiences. We have to store away our pain in order to function in the world. Okay, and so the problem with denial though, and stuffing this stuff away before processing it and being out of touch with your feelings and emotions, is you'll be living in a superficial layer above reality. Okay, for example, I'm gonna avoid those work meetings, I'm gonna hide away from any presentations and things, moments where I gotta speak in front of people. Okay, so you live in this superficial layer. It becomes this secret, and your whole life, it gets organized in a way where this past pain or these past traumas are not going to come bubbling up to the surface. And think about that. That is a stressful life, okay? Holding and harboring these secrets inside. How much intimacy can you truly have in your life when you're holding all this shame and secrecy inside, okay? So the thing with denial though, the reason why it's such a powerful force out there is because to come back down to reality, it's not an easy thing. It's one of the hardest things you will ever have to do. Why? Because to bridge that gap into reality, you're gonna have to move through some serious sadness and depression, and you're gonna have to do some serious grieving. That is the purpose of denial. It's to prevent that grief from kicking in, okay? But when you're able to do so, you'll be able to settle into actual reality, because that is where you actually find the ultimate serenity. That's when you're completely at peace with your life. You have contentment and you have a peaceful mind. And that is why it's so important to move through, to bring these experiences back into your awareness and process through this so you no longer have anything to hide. So when you want to connect with somebody, you don't have this big elephant standing in between you two that prevents any sort of deeper connection. And trying to discover and access all of this unconscious stuff that's driving you like a puppet, it can be very tricky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link below the video so you can book a call with me and learn more about how you can work with me. Okay, and so this whole thing, it comes down to awareness. Okay, the only difference between you and me, and the reason I've been able to recover from social anxiety, is I've expanded my awareness, or I've raised my level of consciousness. There is no recovery from social anxiety until you do. And I'm going to give you an example here of what I mean by raising your consciousness, because it's such an abstract thing that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense sometimes when people are talking about this. So when I was in the thick of it and I would feel completely disconnected in groups, that would be one of the things I would experience with social anxiety. I would be sitting in a group and it would feel like I was just disconnected. I was on the outside peering in, couldn't give my opinions, was up in my head. That was one of the experiences that I used to have with social anxiety, okay? But when I started to become more aware of it, okay, I would start to notice that there were certain people in the group. So I would do okay in some groups, and then all of a sudden I would get very triggered in another group, and I started to question and explore this. And what I noticed in this other group is there would always be an aggressive or a very extroverted male in the group. And because I grew up with a raging, physically abusive father that could fly off the handle at any second, so you can see why that would be super triggering. But in that moment, my level of consciousness, all I'm thinking is, why am I so disconnected? Why can't I give my opinions? What is wrong with me? Why is everybody having fun and I'm just sitting here disconnected and in my head? That was my level of awareness at the time. So then when I was able to heal that, I could go into groups and I could be more present, okay? But then there's a saying, new level, new devil, okay? So I could be present in the group, but then I wanted to give my opinions, and I would see a confident guy and he's laughing and having fun and making people laugh, and I would get so angry. Why can't I be like that? I was so envious, okay? And that was my level of consciousness. Oh, I just need to be more confident. I just need to start studying these social skills and all of these different things. But really what that was triggering is back to childhood again, where I wasn't paid attention to, or it didn't feel important. That whole expressing my opinions wasn't encouraged in my childhood. So of course, when I go into the group, I can be present, okay? But I can't be bold and give my opinions. Why? Because of childhood conditioning, where I got the belief that what I have to say isn't important. But again, I keep raising my consciousness. I keep leveling up. And now I got this new thing that I got to examine and heal from. And then I can be opinionated and bold and give my opinions fearlessly in the group and feel connected. And it was just a matter of time I would get triggered again, and I would get so frustrated, feeling like I'm going to be stuck like this forever, okay? But I stayed committed to cutting through that denial and coming down to reality. And what I would see in the next level would be that this group had a certain racial makeup, and I experienced a lot of racism growing up. Okay, so I had to go back to these experiences where I felt subhuman. I felt like it wasn't a safe world. I felt like racial comments could start flying at me at any second. So again, I had to uncover this and process through that. And remember, I had to grieve. I had to bawl my eyes out with each and every level. But the beautiful thing is, when you grieve those things, you move into a wholehearted acceptance of yourself. you start to see why you are the way you are, okay? And you start to see how much external forces have a play in shaping who you are as a human being in your current state. Okay, so I hope you can see that lack of awareness is the reason you're blaming yourself, and it feels like you can't live a normal life like everybody else, and you're putting yourself down because of it. Okay, so going back to the group where I'm in a group with an aggressive male previously, I would just beat up on myself. What's wrong with me? I'm so disconnected. I'm such a weird person. Okay. Whereas now that I move through it, I'm just aware if there's an aggressive male in the group, I protect my energy, okay? The second thing is remember before, I would get super envious if there was a confident guy in the group and he was making people laugh. Whereas now, I feel important, so when there's that confident guy in the group and he's cracking a joke, I just join in on it. It's a fun thing. And the third thing about the racism is I stopped spending time in that friend group. Okay, remember, so it's about living in reality. Reality is where you find the ultimate serenity. Reality, okay? Not forcing yourself to go in these situations and then beating up on yourself because you're disconnected and in your head. Okay, so the reason people are moving forward in their life is because they've been conditioned to do so. Their life experiences have been conducive to them moving forward in that way. They're not dealing with the same things as you. You have to have compassion for yourself around this. Okay, so keep expanding your awareness. How? By turning and facing and allowing these past things to come into your awareness. Remember, by breaking through that mechanism of denial. Stop blaming yourself. Start looking and examining the past in order to do so. And again, if you want to book that call with me to learn more about how you can work with me, I know this thing can be painful, I know it can be tricky, and it can be tough to navigate. So again, there's going to be a link below the video. You can book that call. And if you like the video, please like and subscribe. Here's some other videos that you can check out next. And thank you for staying with me until the end. I'll talk to you soon, all right? Peace.